Welcome, podcast listeners. You are here with your host, Mr. BudgetPedalChap. It is episode number 291 of the Fret Talk podcast. You are joined today by Mr. Oh my gosh, it is Josh.
I'm back, bitches.
Yeah, it's been a little while, hasn't it? It's been a little while.
Yeah, it's been busy.
Indeed. You've been a very busy boy. In fact, you were we met up before the last time you podcasted, haven't we? In actual real life person at a guitar show.
Yeah, which I'm sure I will be divulging. And I had a birthday. I've leveled up.
You have indeed. One extra year upon that. Nice. Yeah, we've got some stuff this week. But before we do any of that, how are you, my man? How are you?
I'm doing very well, thank you. I'm doing very well. I can't complain. Yourself?
Yeah. I mean, I'm awake and I'm here. So that's
none of us for the longest time are not ill. We're not coughing. We're not sneezing. We're not sniffing. Touch wood.
Yeah.
We're all well. What's going on with the world?
We're out of the woods, aren't we? Look, the flu-y season has gone, and now it's. I say that this week we've had snow, so
I know.
What do you do with that? What do you do with that information? The fact that it's what are we talking like mid-March now, and it's.
Well, I found out that apparently it's statistically more likely to snow in March than any other month in the year.
Well, it's definitely it's shown that to be the case because it's snowed for 2 days running, then had a little break, and then snowed again.
Yep, and it screwed with me massively.
Yeah. Like it's put part to a lot of plan. In fact, it prevented me from sending out my poor Lappy to be repaired, and it is my newer, beautiful, spanky fast running laptop is now off with the repair peoples. So we are back on old trusty. That's it. We're on old faithful at the moment, like OG original Dell laptop. So if things don't sound quite as crisp and high definition, we'll blame it on that.
Then tough titties.
Yeah, I mean this is the free podcast, so yeah. Look, if you write us in a letter, we'll give you your money back.
Yeah, we'll purposely send £3 back to your bank account.
I ain't sending £3 back. I can't afford that shit. Anyway, let's ruminate on what we've been up to this week because you've got a big chunk of stuff. I'm going to start this week. I'm going to go
ahead, my friend.
Yeah, so there's a video that I've been working on for the past month or so. It's been on the back burner a little bit because I had to. Look, I say had to. I went on holiday just after receiving a guitar in the post. So I got to play it for a little while, but I knew I didn't have a chance to record any of the stuff. Finally, I'd got the stuff recorded and released the video. And this is the video on the Jet Guitars JS400. Because as I'd mentioned, I was talking about wanting an HSS guitar and thought I'd reach out to the lovely people at Jet and ask them if I could try one of their guitars because it looked like the spec that I would like. It had a 2-point trem, it had a roasted maple neck, and it was an HSS setup. So they sent me through a rather lovely vintage yellow, I think they call it. One. It looks very Malmsteen. It's got that kind of look.
It's in like butterscotch. Isn't it called butterscotch or something like butterscotch blonde?
No. So because it's like butterscotch blonde is like a transparenty finish.
Yeah.
This is the one. This like when all of the Olympic white Stratocasters have been around for about 20 years, they start turning this kind of yellowy colour. And it's almost exactly the finish that the Malmsteen Strats have. So it's a really cool looking guitar, and it kind of plays into that little Malmsteen fantasy that I have. Because, I mean, as ridiculous as the guy is, it's kind of cool. It's like 80s action heroes, isn't it? Like,
no one will ever admit to liking him.
yeah.
But it's kind.
I do. I there's a couple of really, really cool Malmsteen albums. I think Odyssey is one. Rising Force as well. Are just albums that if I'm, like, especially if I'm going on like a long car journey, I want some like pumped up music to kick back to and just be like, yeah, we're on an adventure. Slap on some Malmsteen, listen to some overblown Phrygian dominant runs.
Yeah, it sounds like Malmsteen, all right.
Yeah, the dude has absolutely no tact or taste, but it does a thing, and the thing he does well. So if that's the thing that you enjoy, and I do, like from time to time, I'll slap on some Malmsteen and really enjoy it. It's like that. It's almost like Deep Purple, but turned up to 11. And I like Deep Purple. So like the Jet JS 400 gave me those kind of vibes. Obviously not Malmsteen Strat quality. It's not like 1,500 quid's worth of Fender Strat. It's a budget guitar, but I wanted to give it a go, and I thought I'd see how much I would be willing to recommend this guitar to a beginner. So I put it through a couple of tests, and you'll see those tests on the video. I'll not go through it all in detail, but I was pleasantly surprised. It's a cool guitar. But I do have some further news. Like if you're part of the Patreon crew, you'll have heard about this guitar previously, and I've got some further things to mention about this. So I'll mention them on the page the next stages in the JS 400 saga.
Dun dun dun.
Indeed. Remember, patreon.com/FretTalk, $2 a month. Be part of that suspenseful.
Illustrious.
Yeah,
illustrious.
It's like the murder mystery of Patreon content, isn't it? Who done it? But not only did I do that, I've the last pedal demo that I recorded on my computer before I sent it off was the Sonic 8 Bit Crusher. It's called the Wave Crush, and it is potentially the most mental guitar pedal that I have ever done on the Budget Pedal Chap channel. So it's well worth checking out. It's a pedal that I think actually, Josh, I think you would probably quite like it.
I do like a Bit Crusher, I'm not going to lie. And my Cooper Sonic Germaniac, which I constantly go on about all the time because it's my most favourite fuzz pedal of all time and space. Yeah. It does a very Bit Crushery thing.
Yeah.
When it goes mad.
This one kind of straddles the line between. So there's definitely kind of Bit Crushery sounds, but there's like synthy fuzz, almost kind of like digital synthy fuzz tones. And I don't know, almost kind of ring modulated tones as well. So it
sounds very reminiscent of the Keeley synth one, because that's a synth fuzz.
Yeah. Like if they would have called it a synth fuzz, I don't think anyone would have batted an eyelid, because it's definitely got those tones with it. But it's also got it's got a clean blend as well, so you can mix in as much of your original tone to get clarity. Because with some of the settings, like with the filter at certain points and like the bit rate down, you start to lose what actual note you're playing.
I like how that sounds.
So you can get it to like really fuck with your tone, but you can then clean back in mix in the clean blend a little bit, so that you can like hear the melodies that you're supposed to be playing with like an undercurrent of like gritty gnarliness.
Yep, that if ever there was a me pedal, that sounds like a me pedal.
Yeah, I'm feeling like a little little meet up again and getting you to try this crazy mofo.
Let's do it, man.
Yeah, defo.
Do it.
Well, I'll tell you what we need to do. We need to re-record that Super Fuzz video that ended up, the video didn't work, but we've still got the audio for it.
Yeah, because that was such a great pedal. I loved it. It
was like the pure joy on your face when you got to try the Super Fuzz. So we can't necessarily do the like first views of that, but we can do a video where you are just enjoying that fuzz.
I'm not going to lie. That's like I've actually got that video clip on my phone. Yeah, and I just love when I hit like that open sea sauce, and it's just like the Gurn face comes out, and I'm like, yeah, baby, this is what it's all about.
Yeah, and like you can see the reason why that Super Fuzz pedal got like that cult following.
Yeah, especially when you stick it in secret mode.
Yes. I think by this point everyone knows the secret mode. It's not so secret anymore, is it?
Yeah.
But yeah, I saw one actually. I think like someone had posted it into a group, like a screenshot of a reverb listing, and someone had put the secret mode on a toggle switch.
Oh, okay.
Which is really cool.
Did you happen to see in our little group that we have when I shared the one that somebody was selling it for? I mean, you can buy them brand new for what was it? It's about 25 quid, something like that.
Yeah, there's been as low as $15.
Yeah, and someone was trying to sell it for £63 brand new.
Wow.
And it's like, mate, you are smoking some premium ganja.
Yeah, there's definitely like whatever you're trying to sell this pedal to buy. Like, I want some of that, please. Let me have some of that because it's seriously good stuff.
It did make me chuckle.
But yeah, it's a bit much, that isn't it? So I've done that this week. I've done a bit crusher and a guitar. Coming up soon, very soon, there might be another guitar coming my way, but I will be hush about this one. It's a very, very special guitar, but I'm going to keep the lips sealed on that one. So, Josh,
can't be doing.
Josh, what are we saying? Like, talk to us about the Birmingham Guitar Show, because me and Matt gushed over the thing, but we didn't get a chance to talk with you about it, did we?
No. So yeah, UK Guitar Show was, I think, for me, I would say a roaring success. I really enjoyed the day.
Mm-hmm.
It was really nice to, obviously, firstly was meeting like Matt and Bimsum the first time, meeting them and actually getting to chat to some of the people that we speak to so much over Facebook and, through the Fret Talk podcast and blah, blah, blah. So it's really nice to see all those. And
yeah,
I knew I was going with some disposable income for my birthday. And
Tell me more.
So, I was on a look around and checked out some, I checked out the brand new, which came out today, technically speaking, the Hairy Squid from Red Beard Effects, which was like a fuzz with 3 clipping modes. There was an LED. There was, I think it was silicon and germanium, so you could use a toggle switch to switch between the 3, and it was gnarly as hell.
Yeah, I saw Mikey's like promo video that dropped today.
Yeah, it was good, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
I think the rig that it was used for. Now, this isn't anything to say to do with about Mikey or anything like that.
Yeah.
But I think kind of the rig that was playing it through didn't, for me, give me the most accurate and justifiable kind of sound for it. I liked it. I think I would have liked it more if I would have been able to try it through like my Quad Cortex or something, for example. So I like my fuzz over overdrive. I don't like it over a clean or a crunch. I like it on full gain.
Yeah.
And it's I love it in full beans mode.
Yeah, we were running them in the show directly into a Cab M Plus, weren't we? Which is really bright and really clean.
And yeah, I'll be honest, I didn't necessarily enjoy it through that.
It weren't given the most pleasant representation, but you could hear what it would be like. Yeah,
what it was doing.
Yeah,
because
you can extrapolate from the clean tone from like actually what the pedal would sound like.
Yeah, because what I ended up doing was I took my Chapman ML1 Relic, which I'll get to in a minute. And so like I knew I had my main guitar. I know what it sounds like. I know how it feels when I was trying bits and pieces out.
That's really clever, though.
And yeah, I wanted a sense of familiarity.
Yeah.
Because I could have, ironically enough, that he had a couple of Chapmans and a Manson there to play through with anyway. But I was like, no, I want my guitar. I know how it plays. I know how it reacts. I know how it sounds.
Yeah. So you're taking all the variables out of it.
Yeah. And it was good. But again, like I said, I wish, I would have preferred to have it through my own personal sort of rig. Really enjoyed that. I tried out the Grimwalkin as well from Ritual. That was great. I'll be honest, I ended up trying that later in the day. I think if I would have tried it earlier in the day, I probably would have walked out with it. I really liked it. I really, really liked it because it was very reminiscent to my Kubasonic Germaniac. It's very similar where you added stuff in, the more crazy it goes.
Yeah.
So I really enjoyed that. I got to try out the Danish Pete new signature Chapman.
Oh, did you actually try it?
I did actually try it, and it was really fucking good. It was really good. And I tried out a few of the Workshop series guitars as well, and they were really good.
So what is the Workshop? This isn't those custom $3,000 ones.
So the Workshop guitars are like all made in the UK. You're talking like the utmost premium woods. Like the necks were bird's eye roasted maple necks. The AAA top flame tops and bits and pieces like that. Bare knuckle pickups coming in and locking shallow hardware, like kind of as premium as they were going to get. They're not cheap. They're about 2,000 to 3,000 depending on the sort of spec that you do. Which you obviously then you are kind of talking PRS territory. And I'll admit that when they came out, I was skeptical. And I tried a couple of them. I tried all three of them actually that were there, and I really enjoyed them. I really, really liked them, and I've got custom shop ESPs that are in that price category.
Yeah.
It blew them out of the water. I'm not going to lie.
Boy.
I genuinely, I'm not going to lie. They were fantastic. Rob played, because obviously everyone knows I'm a good friend with Rob Chapman, and it was good to see him because I hadn't seen him since the 2020 guitar show, just before COVID. So it was really good to see him again after a while. So we had a couple of coffees and a chat, and I got him to try out my ML1 Relic, and he offered to buy it off me. He said, "Have you done anything other than change the pickups and the relic work?" And I was like, "No." I said, "It's still all original fretboard, like frets. I've not had to have it leveled or anything like that. Everything is still the way it came." And it's like, "Are you selling it?" And I was just like, "Not really." And he's just like, "I'll buy it off you today." I was just like, And part of me was like, I should have said, "Give me a Workshop guitar and you can have it."
Yeah.
And funny enough, I was chatting to Rabia last night while he's in Japan. And apparently Rob has sent Rabia a text message on the night saying that he offered to buy it off me. And I got to meet some of the people that actually, kind of behind Chapman guitars. I they knew me, but I didn't know them, so to speak. And I was having a chat to Dan, who kind of runs a lot of the social media through Chapman, and I ended up buying an ML1 when I was there for a really good price. I'm not going to divulge it, but I got it for much less than it should have been.
It's nice being in the know, who you know.
Yeah. And when I was chatting to him, because it was a toss-up between that and it was a toss-up between the ML2, like the single cut Les Paul style shape.
Yeah.
And he said, like, okay, you know, don't feel obligated, but say, you know, if you take the ML1, we'll send you an ML2 on loan. And then if you want to send it back, you can. You know, if you want to keep it, we'll sort of price out, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Or he said, you can take the ML2 today for the same price, like for the same price as what the ML1's being offered for, but he said we probably wouldn't sell you the ML1. Send you the ML1 as well. So it was kind of like a no-brainer.
Yeah.
So once NAM is over, because I think NAM's in the next week or two.
Yeah.
Because he's sorting out a lot of stuff for that. He said once he's back from NAM, he's going to be shipping out the guitar to me to do some stuff with, which I'm looking forward to.
That'll be really cool. Yeah, you can show us those. Maybe like do a little video showing the specs and showing a couple of tone examples of.
I absolutely will, because I've got the ML1 that I bought down in like I had it originally in standard, and I was like, it's my first time using Seymour Duncan pickups, so I'm kind of getting used to them a little bit.
Yeah.
And then I ended up putting it in E flat, and I did a couple rehearsals with some people with it, and I was like, okay, it's nice. And then I've put it into D standard now, and now it's singing, and I'm like, yeah, baby,
this is where it sits. Yeah, okay,
yeah, and it's sitting really nicely there, and I'm really happy with it. So the UK Guitar Show was great.
Yeah,
and since then, when I was at the UK Guitar Show, I met up with Phil from Pedal Patch, and because I messaged him and I was like, look, I'm rebuilding my board after my birthday, so I want to get some really good quality cables. And obviously I knew Pedal Patch did the solderless kit, so I chatted to him, and he was really nice to sort me out with a good deal on everything that I would need to get my board sorted. I was like, I know I need roughly this many connectors and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
As it turns out, I'm 4 short.
Oh, no.
4 connectors short.
I might be able to hook you up, my man.
Because the day after the UK Guitar Show, I seen a Mimic, a TC Electronic Mimic for a steal of a price at Guitar. Because usually second hand, they're going about 120 quid, 130 quid, give or take. And Guitar had put up a post saying, pre-owned in Birmingham, message us if you're interested. And I said, the stereo Mimic. So I sent them a message, and I was like, how much are you selling the Mimic for? And they went 65 quid. And I was like, sold.
Oh, okay. Okay. You're not playing now. You're not playing.
Yeah. Which has been an absolute godsend of a purchase. I love it. But yes, the Pedal Patch stuff was so easy. I was like, it can't be really this easy to make solderless cables. I was just like, nah, can't.
Because me and Matt were bigging it up. We were going, honestly, like, we've been able to do it. Like, we ain't no specialists, and we've both done them and not had a failure yet. Yeah. You're like, no, it can't be that easy. It can't be.
And he showed me, and he's literally like, push in, twist, screw, done. And I was like, no way. And then when I got my birthday present off my partner and I was doing the pedal board, like I'd done all the other bits and pieces, and then I connected in the final one, and I was like, everything worked first time. I was like, fuck.
Yeah, this don't even work with regular patch cables.
Yeah. And I've done everything to such precise lengths where I've got nothing hanging underneath.
Nice.
Really, I've only got one where it goes kind of like to the left and back up to the right. I've cable tied that in on the bottom, so it's nice and neat. But yeah, everything worked first time. It was great, and I finally got my dream pedal to put on the board. What I've wanted for so long, and it was the Game Changer plasma coil, which my lovely girlfriend bought me for my birthday. And there's a really funny backstory with this because I fucking love it. It's great. So my partner, Laura, she had messaged Mr. Budget Pedal Chap. I don't know when it was. She messaged you. I think it must have been around Christmas time or before Christmas or something like that. I'm not sure when it was.
Also known as the season of the scammer, or
yes.
the season of horny wives in your area.
Yeah. My partner was kind of, she was like, I'm in an hour and getting me this pedal for Christmas. And because she hadn't heard of Mr. Budget Pedal Chap, because he mistook her for the single Ukrainian woman living in your area, because it got into your went into my spam folders, the spam folder.
And I assumed like young, attractive looking female. This is gonna be a Ugandan chap, looking for fucking iTunes vouchers.
She had asked like Budget Pedal Chat for what's Josh been wanting or blah 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 blah. I'd never heard a response, so she didn't get me one for Christmas. And then I remember because I had some Christmas money, and I was just looking at plasma coil, looking for all the best prices and whatnot. Yeah. So she must have got like tipped off onto that. And then I think it was start of February. She sent me a message saying, I've bought you your birthday present. And I was like, oh, okay. And she was like, do you want to know what it is? And I was kind of like, I'm intrigued. And she was like, oh, I think it's something you've been looking at. And I was like, okay. And she sent me a screenshot of what she had bought. But she had seen, like, she left the price on there and it said GAC and like receipt number, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And then, it says in the email, like, plasma coil or, I don't know, raise the dead, whatever. Yeah. She just like coloured over it in black ink so it didn't give it away, but it showed the price. And I was like, I know what that is because I know how much it costs. And she was like, I messaged the dude that you do the podcast with and he just didn't reply to me, like I was asking him what you wanted and he just didn't reply to me. I was really offended. And I was just like, oh, okay, let me message him about that. And so I messaged Budget and he was like, oh, here it is in my spam folder along with, X amount of, single Ukrainian women.
Well, yeah. I had to wade through hundreds of scammers to get through to the one nugget of actual truth. So, like, here's my personal apology to your missus here. Is that
I think it's the greatest story behind a pedal I've heard for a while. I thought it was absolutely hysterical.
Indeed. And in some ways it's a compliment because they don't use the photos of ugly women in these in these little scam things, do they? So I mean, in a weird backhanded way, it's a compliment.
There you go, Laura, you heard it first.
But yeah, so it's this is me extending my apology. I will try harder the next time.
So for the people that aren't aware of it, the Game Changer stuff is great. So it's basically like a fuzz pedal with it's essentially a xenon gas-filled tube in the middle of the pedal. Then when you turn it on, it basically turns your guitar signal into lightning.
Hell yeah, it does.
The lightning you see go like through and react in this xenon-filled tube. And it's about, I think it's 30,000 volts that are going through the little xenon tube, and you can see all arcing and going mad. And it's also then got an extra mode where you can bring in octave up, octave down, one octave up, one octave down, 2 down, 1 up, and then like 2 down, 2 up, and you can put it into those modes and then engage extra boost. So it then basically amplifies the voltage even more. And then it just goes, makes crazy noises, and I fucking love it. I absolutely fucking love it. It was that pedal where, you know, when you turn it on and then you just start smiling and giggling and laughing. You're like, this is so good. It's that.
I'm glad that
I love it.
It's all come through for you. I'm really glad.
It's been worth the wait, that's for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, that's a feel good story with a comedy twist in the middle.
Yeah.
Right. And we're midway through the podcast. I think we should probably tackle the hot take from last week, which the results will surprise you. So the hot take from last week. Indeed. The hot take from last week was John Frusciante is not a guitar hero. Now, 100% of the votes, 100% of the votes says he is responsible for the success of the Red Hot Chili Peppers. But why is it 100% of the votes? Well, that's because...
I don't know, Budge. Why is it 100% of the votes?
Well, that's because Lee, in his infinite wisdom, managed to delete the option for against. So it was, for the most part of the week, level pegging between kind of 50-50. Then one would kind of go up a little bit, and then the other would come up a little bit. But it was kind of sitting around 50-50. Like Lee's excuse was he was trying to look at the percentages, and instead ended up deleting one of the the options, which I didn't think was an option for someone who didn't make the poll, but apparently it was, because he's an admin. I might have to take admin rights away from him. Oh dear. So this week's hot take essentially is invalid, I guess.
I think we're going to have our first inconclusive.
So I think I will probably concede to the fact that John Frusciante is a guitar hero. That being said, however, I did a little test before the podcast. And my missus, who is not a particular, like she's like your general kind of music fan, will listen to stuff that's on. She knows who the Red Hot Chili Peppers are. Like she grew up the same kind of time that I did. So she she's heard of the Chili Peppers. She could name a few songs. So I asked her a couple of guitar heroes. And I said, like, what band is Slash part of? And she's like, yeah, I know that one, Guns N' Roses. What band is Jimmy Page part of? And she's like, oh, I'm not quite sure with that one, but I've heard of the name. Yeah, like she's just like a general music listener, not a guitar enthusiast by any stretch. Says John Frusciante, which band's he part of? Not a fucking clue. So, to me, that's not a guitar hero. That's not a guitar hero. But there you go. I'm conceding to it. I'm saying that John Frusciante is a guitar hero because so many people came up with compelling enough arguments. She did throw a comment out there, which is bound to rile up Red Hot Chili Pepper fans everywhere. She referred to the Chili Peppers as the Maroon 5 of the 90s. So any and all hate for that comment. Please, yeah, just put it in the podcast group and I'll send it on to her.
She's not wrong.
I mean, that could be this week's hot take, but it's not. We'll save that for a little while to let the heat on those Chili Peppers cool down. We have got another hot take this week, haven't we, Josh? And it was submitted by yourself.
It was submitted by myself, and it got quite a little bit of flack in our Fret Talk
Yeah,
podcast
because
group.
we pre-hot taked this one, didn't we? We pre-hot taked it, and it got a little bit spicy in the group chat.
Yes, I'm expecting the internet to lap this up. So this is my personal opinion. Feel free to disagree with it. A lot of people are. But Richie Sambora is better Slash.
Right, okay. This is a bold statement here. Justify your opinion here, Josh. Give people...
So the way I come to think of it, and I know there's going to be a lot of kind of ways to this can be used against me.
Yeah.
I kind of liken guitar players with their abilities to kind of how catchy and how well they're able to kind of bring the songs across as a guitar player. So, like playing the right thing for the right time, whatever.
Yeah.
So when you think of Slash, you know automatically that, Guns N' Roses. And you think of Sweet Child of Mine, November Rain, Paradise City. And then you kind of go,
Welcome
what else is he
to the jungle.
I don't even think that's a great song, in my opinion. That's me. But that's different. That's totally different. And see, I didn't even think about that song.
How about Slither by Velvet Revolver, or Fall to Pieces, or Anastasia by Slash? Yeah, okay. Or the one that he did with Fergie. I can't remember what it's called.
And I think, he's, I wouldn't say he's very basic as a guitar player, but I would say that, he sticks to what he can do. And that's kind of it. He's, not rests on his laurels, but I find him personally very plain and very boring.
Quite samey. Okay.
And I've always thought Richie Sambora as a much better guitar player, and that is in the sense of he's very, very good at finding the right sort of guitar work to fit songs. So like when you've kind of got stuff like Living on a Prayer, for example, it's a very you've kind of got the build up of the emotion of the song, and then the solo lets it all out, and it's Wanted Dead or Alive.
Completely that different. The 12-string intro, and
it gives that cowboy style background that goes with fucking hell, Blaze of Glory.
Yeah, the Young Guns is
the Young Guns soundtrack. Yeah. I've always personally found that his work is a lot catchier, and I've always found it more like with some of the stuff. I think it's more technically advanced at times with some of the ways that he's done stuff and the techniques that he uses in a lot of his solos. I don't know. I think I'd have to disagree there. Slash has shown more technical advancement than Sambora pretty much across the board. Like the crazy, like the last minute of Paradise City where he's just shredding the shit out of a Les Paul, just non-stop kind of licks. And then you've got the weird little kind of Phrygian run as well in Sweet Child of Mine. And I mean, just the solo of Sweet Child of Mine is like incredibly well written and like lasts longer than a lot of the lead breaks in the Bon Jovi stuff. But I think the strongest part of the argument there is the kind of the musicality, and I think as technical as Slash can get, especially having it slung down at his knees, and he can still do it live. The thing is, I've seen so many videos where he can't do it live, and that's the problem.
Oh, there you go. I've seen him absolutely nail like some of the stuff live. He's got it slung down super, super low. So I mean, there's reason that he shouldn't be able to do it. But on records, he's like blown Sambora out the water with some of the stuff that he can do. That being said, like the iconic hits, like the big riffs, the ones that you remember, big anthemic things, like the guitar parts that you remember. I think Slash has got a few, don't get me wrong. Like he's got like that Sweet Child of Mine riff is something you've heard butchered in every guitar shop you've ever been in. And there's a couple more tunes, but the peaks of Sambora's like writing, like riff writing and like melodic solo writing, they're higher peaks and more consistent peaks than Slash has got. Like you say, Pigeon on a Chair is an iconic riff.
Chair.
But then you have got that like that. The one that you hear in all acoustic sections of guitar shops is the Wanted Dead or Alive riff being butchered. You got like Always, you've got Bad Medicine, and like even like It's My Life, bow, bow, ba-na-na-na-na. Like just two chords, well, the same chord played twice, bow, bow, is like an iconic guitar part. Like people remember it, and like he has endured with that like talk box sound as well, like bringing that through the ages and like having that like really strange fucking effect as part of his sound. So there's argument for either person, I think, but there's like definitely like the more iconic parts are Sambora just wins hands down. I think Slash had a really good album with Guns N' Roses. Like Appetite for Destruction is a really solid album and finds itself as one of those iconic rock albums through the ages. But like a lot of the other Guns N' Roses stuff, there was a lot of filler after that. And then, like you said, there's been stuff since, like the Velvet Revolver stuff, and he's done some solo stuff. Has it ever really reached the peaks of that original Appetite for Destruction? Probably not. I don't hear many people going into a guitar shop and playing like Velvet Revolver tunes. You're more likely to hear someone playing a bunch of Bon Jovi stuff. I like Bon Jovi stuff through the ages. So, I don't know. Final thoughts on it, Josh, what we're saying?
Like, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that Slash is like, a mediocre player because, say, you do hear the songs like, Sweet Child of Mine, and it is, it's been a very iconic, riff and thing for guitar players and has spurred a lot of people on. But I find that I wouldn't say that it's kind of lazy writing on this part. It was like, he's openly said that was just like a water scale warm up that he was doing, for example, that made it into the song.
Yeah. I mean, if you're coming from that angle, Smoke on the Water is potentially one of the most iconic guitar riffs. Like even like your first guitarist will play it wrong or play it on the E string and just ignore it for E5. But that was originally a warm up for Richie Blackmore. Like he used to, like it was like a thumb warm up for him. He'd do that with his thumb up and down the neck to get his stretch loosened up.
And I don't know, it's like I remember a friend of mine was at Download Festival Affair when Guns N' Roses were playing the last time. I think it was like 2017, 18 or something like that. And he had sent me videos, and Slash sounded fucking dog shit, absolute dog shit. And it was kind of like trying to hear him attempt to play November Rain was like the kind of nails down a chalkboard sort of thing.
Ooh.
And when you're kind of Slash's caliber, and people argue with this bit, whatever, like, he's a bit older, blah, blah, blah. Maybe just hasn't quite got it in him, had an off day or whatever. When he's been so iconic, and especially when you kind of he wrote all this, and I remember hearing once that the actual outro to November Rain was improvised. I remember hearing, whether that's fact or not, I don't know. Like, come on, you should be able to play your own stuff live better, especially when you're kind of doing the comeback tour. When you're doing the comeback tour and, you want to be absolutely on the pocket in there, and then you can't even play your own stuff correctly. It's a bit kind of like...
Yeah, like it needs to be brushed up and iconic, doesn't it? Yeah, I've got a little story about Slash and Download, but I'm gonna save it for the Patreon because it's definitely not for delicate ears. Yeah, we put it out there. Richie Sambora is better, not a better guitarist, not a better songwriter. He's just better than Slash. That is the wording. That is what you need to argue. Interpret that how you will. And in the podcast group, there may be a poll by the time that this comes out. I can't promise that it will be out on time because I usually schedule these things in advance, but my computer's off for repair. So I don't know. I don't know if I can, but I'll try. I will try my hardest, listeners. I will try. Be assured that I will. Right. We've got some things. We've got some questions. Well, questions, statements, general musings from the podcast group, which I thought are much more important than the news this week because there isn't any. No, there's a few little things, but I just, when you just can't be asked. Like it's not inspiring enough news for me to write it down. So we is where we is, and I think the musings in the group are actually a much more interesting take. So our first one is from our resident conversation starter, Mr. Nick Scott. We've got, could someone please explain Rick Beato? Just like doesn't really get it. I think what he said on the post, because I've not got it to hand, but I did read it and I responded to it a few times. I think he'd seen the video on the string gauges, which is like, for any of you who haven't seen it, it's like Rick Beato debunking the myth that thicker strings sound better. So he tried the same guitar with sets of strings going from 0.8 gauge all the way up to 12s, I think, and like saw how the tone changed. And actually, the thinner strings sounded thicker. Like the tone was much fuller and rounder sounding, which was really strange. And like he commented how it took some time to get used to, like, because you overbend the shit out of them because there's so little tension. But actually the tone, like the tonal characteristics, there wasn't mass amounts in it, and actually the thinner strings sounded a bit better. Weirdly.
Well, ZZ Top are obviously very, famous for using, I think they use sevens or eights, I think Gibbons.
Yeah, Billy Gibbons was using eights for a long time and he's went down even to sevens now.
And, they have a ridiculously good sound.
Yeah. I think the thing with ZZ Top is they don't let any of that guitar or amplifier get in the way of their fuzz pedal tone. And there's just like mass amounts of gain on top of mass amounts of gain. But it works. Like his tone is wicked, so, but like as a broader sense, how do we justify Rick Beato? I think
he's a content creator at the end of the day. That's what he is, and that's what he's very good at.
Yeah. And as much as people take the piss out of him for being like this kind of boomer final boss, he's
so knowledgeable.
Yeah, like for all of the times that he shouts at a cloud like an angry old man, he actually knows his shit. He's been in the industry, like recording bands in the 2000s, and he's learnt his craft. He knows, like, there's multiple guitar lessons online where he's just like ripping out like all of the different scales and modes that you should use over like certain chords in a progression. So he knows his stuff.
I don't think there's anybody else out there that has the knowledge he does.
Yeah, look.
His knowledge of kind of theory and the guitar as an art form is just second to none. It really is. And when he divulges down into things about like what makes this song great and bits that he does with that, I think is really interesting as well, because I think he can also give that producer outlook onto things, and he picks out so many little nuances for tracks that you would never normally hear.
Yeah, it's a really interesting watch, isn't it?
I've learned a lot from him, especially when it comes to doing things like, kind of production on bits that he's picked out from, songs like in the series, and with some of his theory and how he can kind of just pick everything up so really fucking well.
Yeah, it's the kind of stuff that, like, you can tell that he's not having to sit there and research it for hours and hours, because it's stuff that he kind of intrinsically has picked up over that time. Yeah, and he does interviews with artists as well. He's done like a couple with Steve Lukather. He's done one with Justin Hawking recently. He gets all of these like wicked insights into just like cool music shit. So yes, there are kind of boom moments with it, and there's like him like shouting into the cloud saying that modern music is terrible and that like the art of musicianship has declined. But like if you take it with a pinch of salt, I don't know. Like there's value to be had there. He's got like over 3 million people viewing. It's for a reason.
Like, I understand what people say, like, with that mindset, because, the musicianship and the way guitar is now has completely changed from what it was 20, 30, 40 years ago, sort of thing. A lot of it has changed. And I get where he's coming from, because it has changed, and, he, like you say, has the boomer mentality on it and whatnot. But a lot of people his age are exactly the same.
Oh, a lot of people his age are worse. They are much more close-minded. Like he had Tim Henson from Polyphia on his.
I can't stand him.
Yeah, whether or not you can stand him, like he's one of the new wave of guitar players. He's one of the people who young guitarists are looking up to, and Beato could easily have said, "Oh, this plinky shit," but no, he's invited the guy on to talk about like the new wave of guitar stuff. I think like the interview with Beato was where he mentioned the word boomer bends.
Yeah, that's where it all come from.
Yeah, but there you go. So he's still like he's keeping an open mind about music, but yeah. So for Nick, I think actually there's there's value to be had there. There's definitely stuff that you're gonna find interesting. I think it's not a channel that I watch all that often, but I do occasionally indulge, especially with the interviews. And whenever I watch it, I don't feel like I'm being shortchanged. I feel like there's value there.
Yeah, like I'll definitely, I tend to watch, like, when he does the like the what makes this song great. I quite enjoy, like, the top, say 10, I don't know, drum intros from the 2000s, and the little series things that he does like that. I enjoy those.
Yeah.
Because I find they're quite interesting, to hear his, at the end of the day, his opinion on things. That's what it is. It's an opinion.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'd definitely say thumbs up. Give it a try. Because if you enjoyed that strings video, definitely give it a go. Right, we've got Bimson, who posted in the podcast group literally just before we came live here. So there weren't that many reactions to this post. But he says, am I weird? He doesn't necessarily care about the pick that he's using. He doesn't necessarily care about the scale length of the guitar or the neck profile of the guitar. To him, he'll try the guitar out, and if he likes it, he likes it. It's more of like an instinct thing rather than I'll narrow myself down to, like, I know I definitely don't like this neck profile, or I know that I definitely prefer this scale length to this scale length. So he just feels it out almost.
It's a very interesting point, because I've found, like, when I've been and tried so many different guitars, and I've had many guitars come through my hands, through trading and bits and pieces like that.
Yeah.
And there's been so many guitars that I've had where I've looked at the spec and thought, in theory, that, that's very much, leans itself to the style I play, or, I like a slimmer neck or bits and pieces like that. But everything feels different regardless. I don't think necessarily no two necks are the same, or bits and pieces. You have to be very open-minded with things. You can know what you like. Like, for example, you're not going to like EMG pickups, Floyd Rose, these sorts of bits and pieces. You know that you like your single coils or HSS layout bits and pieces like that.
Yeah.
And you have your comfort zone, I think is a good way to word it.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't necessarily say that, I only use this sort of thing, so I'm only going to look for that style, like 50 styles neck, for example. I wouldn't put myself in a situation where I'm limiting everything.
Yeah.
Take, for example, when I was trying out the workshop Chapman, one of them had like a really big fat baseball style neck, which, usually isn't my sort of thing, but actually when in the context of the guitar, when I'm playing it, it was really nice and it's really comfortable. I probably would struggle doing a 2-hour gig with it, because, if you're playing classic rocky Les Paul chords, you might be okay. But with me, you kind of playing a lot of progressive stuff up and down the fretboard, I'd have cramps by the end of the day.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think the specs of a guitar are a bit like a roadmap. For me, I know I prefer single coils. The majority of my guitars are single coils, but then again, I own a Les Paul, I own a Gibson Midtown, I own multiple different guitars that kind of go against that. And I've taken those on their own merit. So I go into it knowing I prefer the sound of single coils, but I'll give it a go. I know that I prefer darker fretboards, but I played that Jet JS 400 with a maple board and really enjoyed it. Like the Jet is a really, really prime example. I mentioned this in the video as well. I had some massive concerns about the ceramic pickups, because in the past I've tried cheaper ceramic pickups and they've just lacked. Like, I prefer the sounds of Alnico pickups, Alnico 5s usually with Strat pickups. But I went and I played it in a band rehearsal, and at volume they sounded great. So I know I've got these preconceptions already built in. I know what I might be looking for if I'm going into a guitar shop, and I know that I would probably prefer this guitar over that guitar because of this spec and this spec and this spec. But I'm not going to discount the other guitar. I'm not going to say I'm never going to try that, because if I did, I'd have a rack that is full of Strats, wouldn't I? And
I'm not going to lie. When I've tried guitars out before, I have blindfolded myself. I've took like a sleep mask and blindfolded myself, and I've picked like 4 guitars. I'm going to try all 4 of these. Blindfold yourself. Take your sight and your mind out of it, and you just play it. Because I think you'd be surprised at because you might end up then going, oh, I like this one the most. Oh, this has got the, I don't know, wizard style neck or whatever. Oh, I didn't think I'd like that,
Yeah. Yeah. It's a good way of doing things. You definitely need either guitar racks that you can have very close to you, or a friend to come with you to do that. Because otherwise you're going to get some really angry guitar staff with you just like chucking guitars on the floor. But
yeah, obviously that goes without saying.
Yeah. But yeah, I think we'll talk a little bit more about picks later as well, because we've got like a final comment about picks. But in terms of like the specs of a guitar, scale length never bothered me. Whether it's Fender or Gibson does not bother me at all. I will play either. I use 10 gauge strings across the board. I do it whatever the gauge, whatever the scale length. I am using a set of 10s. Like for me, I think that like the accompaniments of a guitar, like the tuners and stuff like that, I have a preferred thing. Like I prefer locking tuners, but again, I'm not letting these things dictate to me, because I've got guitars that don't have that on, and I still like them and I still play them. Like I've got preference, but I don't let it be the only thing that I will choose. Because again, I'd have a really boring rack of the same guitar, and I don't like my guitar collection. There's probably too many of them, but they all do something. They all do something a little bit that the other ones don't. And I find I play different with certain guitars as well. So that inspires me. I think Bimson mentioned that in his OP as well. Right, our final bit of discussion is Ross Philpotts, one of our Patreon backers. Talking about Jazz 3s. Jazz 3 picks. He sees Jazz 3 picks all over the place, especially us. Like on the podcast, we are champions of the Jazz 3. He says he uses 0.73 Tortexes as his usual thing. He's never really understood the draw to the Jazz 3. He says they do a Tortex in the Jazz 3 shape. Should he try one?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I would almost argue. I think there was someone who posted it in the in the responses to this, and I think this is a great reason for the Jazz 3 is the material. It's a nylon pick. It's a millimeter thick, but it's got just enough flex in it. Like it's quite sturdy, so it doesn't flex a lot, but it's got just enough flex in it that you can get it to flex if you're trying. So it's not ridiculously thick, but it's sturdy enough for the size of it. It's got that really nice balance. So I would almost argue against using a Tortex style jazz pick, because I think that will have the flex of a Tortex in it. Whereas I think the beauty of the Jazz 3, the little red nylon Jazz 3, is actually the composition of all of the parts of it. The material gives a certain tone. The size of it is the reason why I went towards the size of it, is to try and get my picking to be more accurate, because they are smaller. You have to really be conscious. Yeah, you have to really focus on. You have to be conscious about how you're using your pick. I found that using bigger picks, I was much less refined with it. And the moment I started using Jazz 3s, I started to really refine my picking. And I'm not gonna try and profess that my picking is anywhere near good enough. My picking is the bit about my playing that lets it all down. But it would be much worse if I didn't play a Jazz 3. So I'm a massive supporter of the Jazz 3.
I've had like a very weird, I would say like a very weird pick journey for me. I started out using just, like the black nylon 1mm black ones.
Yeah.
And I found that I'm very heavy-handed, and I was chewing through them like no one's business, to a very unreasonable amount. And then I came across a company called Hawk Picks.
Okay.
And I started using those for a while because they were like almost like an acrylic, almost.
Yeah.
And I was experimenting because they did 1.6, 1.4, 2 in their sizes.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, okay, I'm going to try 2mm. This is when I was starting to get a lot more kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Experimental with things. And for a good period, about 3 or 4 years, I was sticking with them because I really liked the thickness, because it was working with me being very heavy-handed.
Got
but
a
with
sickness for the thickness.
Yeah. But with what I really found was with the 2mm thick, like the thickness combined with the material, was I was able to get like a year out of one pick.
Yeah.
Before it would start to get like a copious amount of wear, where the
you get the chamfer on either side of the pick.
No, it wasn't like that. It was almost like a divot like that into the pick, but 6 or 7 of them in one pick.
Okay,
that's what I'll have to do is when we put this up, I'll take a picture, because I still got one of them. I'll take a picture of it and put it into the group.
Cool.
To show the wear that I was putting into them.
Yeah.
And I was really liking them for a while. I noticed something very weird with my playing, but I hold a pick very weirdly. I only show a very, very small amount of a tip on the pick.
That's all it takes, my man. That's all it takes.
And I get very sweaty hands, to the point of I'm holding a pick how I normally would now. And if I just show budge.
Yeah, that's a kind of standard amount of pick, that is, I would have thought.
It's a very tiny amount.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
You can barely see the
tip. Hey.
Yeah.
And I get very sweaty hands when I play. And I've tried so many picks that would just kept slipping out of my hand. And I remember trying a Dunlop 1.4 Tortex, and I actually had to get a Stanley blade and do the gouging lines into the pick.
Yeah.
In order to grip it. But then I really wasn't comfortable with the pick. And then I was just in the Jazz 3s, and I was just like, So I tried the larger ones first because you've got the Jazz
the
3, then you've got the Jazz 3 Mini. Yeah, the XLs. And I tried the XLs and it was okay. It wasn't too bad. I was like, it's just too big though. There's so many fucking puns.
I get that all of the time, mate. I get it all of the time.
No, you don't. Don't lie.
Then I wake up.
And then I've tried the minis and I've kind of stuck with them.
Yeah.
But I still keep wanting to go back to the Hawks.
Okay.
The 2mm, the Jazz 3 size, the acrylic thickness. But all it lacks is the grip. That's all that it lacks. And I've spoken to Rob, who runs Hawk, and he hasn't really got anything to be able to put that kind of into place. The best he did was he drilled 6 holes into the pick.
Yeah.
Which worked, but I'd find that like after a gig or after like a week of playing, I'd have to like get rid of some of the sweat out of the holes.
Nice.
Yeah, that's how badly my hands sweat when I play.
What you might do is get some get some super glue or something and put some like coarse material like sand or something on top where the super glue is. You get like almost like
an abrasive.
Yeah, like almost like a grip tape on a skateboard.
That's not a bad idea.
Hey, I'm nothing if not resourceful. But there we have it for this week. That is our podcast. And I'm extending a thank you to our listeners. You are awesome people. And I'm extending an extra special sexy thank you to our Patreon backers. And if you stick around, you can catch us on the page in just a moment. For as little as $2 a month, you could be part of this exclusive, wonderful, glorious Patreon crew. And they are as follows. We've got Mr. Andrew Bimson of The Rising of the Lights. We have got Mr. Doug Christ of 37 Effects, of Masters of the Cinematic Universe, and the Just Surprise Me podcast. We've got Mr. Hugh G. Rection. We have got Mr. Ben Fletcher of Fletcher Pickups. We have got Mr. Brian Gower of the Tone Jerks podcast, of the Second Button podcast, and the Off the Rails podcast with the A-Train. And we have got Mr. Ross Philpotts.
Hey.
Booyah. If you want to catch me online, I am Mr. BudgetPedalChap. You find me on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. YouTube is the home to the No Talk or Tone series, which this week features the Sonic Ache Wave Crush, which is potentially the most mental guitar pedal I've ever tried. Josh, where can we find you, my man?
You can find me at the Corona Mortis on Instagram, and you can find me also at Josh Castle TCM on YouTube.
Oh, yeah. And that'll be us for this week. So from myself, Mr. BudgetPedalChap, from Mr. Oh my gosh, it is Josh. It will be a tatty bye and good night for this week. Ta-ra a bit.
Bye.
Bye. I accidentally sent a naked photo to everyone in my address book. Not only was it embarrassing, but it cost me a fortune in stamps.